The main goal of this last lab is to show a separation of a mixture by filtration. So I'm going to turn to this page right here, and I'm going to show you the process of what we're going to do. So if you remember, filtration is to separate a solid from a liquid, but we're actually starting off with two solids. So the first concept I'd like you to record is when we have filtration, filtration is going to require a solid and a liquid. Requires a solid and liquid. That's the first thing that we need to point out. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two materials. This is my salicylic acid, and this is my iron oxide, also called rust. So I'm going to go ahead and put my iron oxide in, and also my salicylic acid in, and we'll mix this up like this. So now it's a mixture, but we can actually separate those in a few minutes. So this iron oxide, this is the red material that I poured in. The salicylic acid, this is the white material. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding this material, which is called NaOH. And what this is going to do is this is going to act on this molecule right here, the salicylic acid. It's going to dissolve the salicylic acid. So at this point in time, now I have dissolved salicylic acid and solid iron oxide. So here's my mixture. Now I have both a liquid and a solid. So I have a liquid and a solid. The solid contains the red iron oxide, and the liquid contains the dissolved white salicylic acid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to pour in some of this NaOH, or sodium hydroxide. I'm going to mix this up in the attempt to dissolve my salicylic acid. So now I'm going to go through the process of filtration. So what I have here is I have a beaker. I have my funnel, which also has my filter paper on the inside of that. And I am going to now pour in my mixture. So it'll take a minute or two for the liquid to flow down. So now I'm going through the filtration process. So this is like a coffee filter. My red iron is in the solid form, and my white is in dissolved form in the liquid. So when I put it through the filter, the solid, what's going to get stuck in the filter? What's going to get stuck in the filter is going to be which material? It's going to be the iron. The red stuff is going to get stuck in the filter. What's going to pass through into the liquid? This is going to be the salicylic acid. We'll just say, well, we'll say it's a salicylic acid. The salicylic acid. So we're going to pretend that all of this liquid has gone through. Maybe we could try to hurry it along. It'll only take a couple more moments. But I'm impatient, so I'm going to take that and remove that. Okay, so now what I have left here is I have my salicylic acid that's dissolved in here, and then of course I have my iron, which is stuck in the filter over here. So I've actually separated my iron, my red iron, from my white salicylic acid. That's the process of filtration. But I can actually now get out from this is my other white solid. And I do that by adding hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid, or this HCl, is going to act on the salicylic acid. It's going to make a solid again. So here is my salicylic acid, and I'm going to pour a little bit of the hydrochloric acid into there. And what you can see at the bottom is this slurry of white. I've pulled out my salicylic acid, and I can now pour this into the filter, and I can once again separate a solid from a liquid. So here we separated the solid iron from the dissolved salicylic acid. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting my salicylic acid back because I added this hydrochloric acid to make it a solid, and it's going to make it into solid salicylic acid, not dissolved. And what will be filtering through as the liquid is simply going to be water, H2O. So again, the process of filtration requires a solid and a liquid. The solid will get stuck into the filter, and the liquid portion will then pass through. So I started off with the two solids. I then separated out my iron, and the clear salicylic acid flowed through. Then I added the hydrochloric acid, and from that I isolated my salicylic acid, and what I have left here is water.